So I'm here in the login page. So let's write our handle submit code here. Even though we don't have the endpoint in the backend, we're going to work on that next. So here we prevent default when the button is submit, handle submit when the form is submit, and then here we try and we catch any error. So if there is any error, we can console log error, and then we can again use toast dot error, and we can show the error message. So that is going to be error dot response dot data. So first we want to check if error dot response dot status equals 400, then we want to show the toast message. Now sometimes you might get this value is undefined and you might get some error in the screen. So if you do that, just comment this code out and just see the console log, see what you get in the error, because you could be getting a 400 error for some other reason. So in that case, you won't be getting this response data, the message that we are sending from the validation. You won't be getting this one. So in that case, just comment this out and have a look in the error message. So if there is some error message, then obviously you can show that here. Okay, now here try, we have this login form, so we're going to try that. Let's put it in a variable response equals to await. I'm going to try login, and we need to give the user information, that is email and password. So once we do that, we get the response, whatever that is. We get the successful response. We can console log login response, and here again we're going to send the user data. So when the user login, we will be sending the user information, for example name, email, or maybe not email, maybe just the name, and then most important one is the token. So when they log in, we will be generating the JSON web token, and we're going to send that from backend to frontend, and that token will be used as a medium to access any protected routes. The whole point of login is we want to restrict access to certain pages, certain actions in the backend, right? So that's the whole point of creating the login system. So when they log in, they will get this token. We're going to send that from backend to frontend here on the successful login, and based on that, with that token, every time they need access to the protected resources, you will be sending that token in Axios. Using Axios, you will be sending that in the headers. So our backend will receive that and validate and make sure that is a valid token that is issued by our application and it is not expired. So in that case, user will get access. I guess that's how the whole authentication system works. So here we're going to get the data, which will be in the response data. By default, we get that. So if we get that, you want to maybe console log and have a look. So console log, and we have to do something. Once we get this data, we will be saving this token in the local storage. So save user response in Redux. We're going to save in the Redux state and also in local storage, and local storage, then redirect. So once you do that, you're going to redirect the user, because once they log in, you want to take them to some other page. Okay, so we're going to do that, but we have to wait for that. We don't have the response yet. We don't have the backend doing anything for us. Okay, so response.data. You can write to console log, doesn't matter. So once we get the response, we will have a look at that. But until then, let me actually get rid of that. It's already here. Instead, let me cut that out and put here. So let me just write here, send login data. So we're going to send the email and password. Let's see if we are able to get this information here when we submit the button. Then in the following lecture, we're going to go to our backend, make everything ready, routes and controllers, so that when we make a request, we should be getting the successful response here. At the moment, let's just have a look in the console, make sure so far so good. So you have to keep typing email and password. If you want to save yourself from that hassle, you can come here and just write it down here, ryan@gmail.com. Okay, so that way it's much easier to try in the development mode. Okay, so let me hit submit, and you can see here port not found, which is obvious. We don't have this route yet. However, we have this user data, email and password. That's all we need. We need to send this to our backend. So we are actually sending. However, we don't have this endpoint in the backend. So let's go ahead and work in our backend. But you can see here, everything is going fine. We made a post request to this endpoint with this data. Perfect.